Hello and welcome to Reprojected, an emergency special broadcast to discuss the PSVR 2 adapter that's been released and all the joys we've seen on Twitter and some of the things that we've experienced the past couple of days. So let's get straight into it. Who wants to go first?
Well, I can kick things off then. So, because we both got it, didn't we? You and I, Rog, we got it yesterday.
We did, yeah.
Delivered from Amazon, and so I set it up. I'd been watching a few videos because a few people got it earlier, and of course, you know, people on Twitter and on Reddit are talking about it. And so I set it up initially, and one of the things I was already pretty prepared for is the fact that the Bluetooth dongle thing was going to need a little bit of placement and some work. So I went in, I just plugged it straight into the top of my PC on one of the front USB connectors, right, and then did the setup process on the PSVR 2. And first of all, let me get into that setup process. So on mine, I just can't, it won't show the pass-through. Even now, it won't show the pass-through when I'm setting up my room. So that was the first little issue that I got into. The thing with that, though, is when it doesn't show your pass-through, I can sort of look around. You've got this orange sort of colouring and stuff, and you can look around your room as if it is scanning your room still. So it will let you set up a room, and then once I get past that, and I'm in Steam VR, and I can press the pass-through button on the PSVR 2, pass-through will show then. So there's something weird going on, and I know there's been other people that have had this issue as well. I've seen them on Reddit, a few posts mentioning this now as well. But back to the Bluetooth thing. So that was one issue. I had two issues initially. That was one. The other one was this Bluetooth thing. So the tracking on the controllers was awful when I first went into Steam VR. And immediately, you know, I'm thinking back to discussions on Discord and on Reddit and Voodoo's video as well, saying you need an extension, a USB extension to plug it into. So I found one and plugged it straight in, and then tracking was basically cleared up from that point. So my initial setup, I had a few problems. I managed to get through it. The pass-through thing on room setup is still not resolved for me, but I did get into Steam VR pretty quickly overall. But that's the first little initial thoughts on mine anyway. What about you, Rog? What did you...
Well, I had an entire day of it not working. I literally got it working this morning, or around about lunchtime. So what happened with me was I put an extension cable in from the beginning, because, you know, I'd read about all that by then. So Bluetooth cable in, sort of front of room away from my PC, the adapter away from my PC, and it picked up the controllers fine. It, you know, registered them fine via Bluetooth. The problem I had was when I got to the point where you're actually in the headset, and it says you've put pictures of controllers on the screen. It says point, you know, click next with the controller to continue, and it's showing there should be a laser pointer so you can click on the next button. I've got no 3D models of controllers tracking or anything, and I have no laser pointer. If I pull the triggers, I can get rumble or get haptic rumble. If I use the identify controller option on Steam VR, it will send a rumble to whichever controller I clicked on. If I just look slightly away and hold down the options button on the right controller, it will recenter. It would recenter my view. It'd move the panel back right into the middle of my view. So the controllers were there. It knew they were there. It was working with them. There was just zero tracking, and I just could not get this sorted at all. I had so many problems. So thus begun a saga of installing things, reinstalling things, uninstalling things, doing things in different orders, plugging things into different places, and then at some point, while you're setting it up, at one point before you even get that far, it says put your headset and your controller down somewhere where you can easily get to them or something. And I think at that point, I don't know whether it's supposed to say something about Steam VR or tell you to do something else. It says preparing anyway on the screen, or preparing your headset. Yeah. And there's like a little line going along the bottom, just continually cycling through. At some point, it got to that point and then wouldn't go any further. And I was literally stuck with that for the rest of the day. No matter what I did then, that's as far as it would get. And just nothing was working. So my install of Windows is old, shall I say. It's the longest I think I've ever had an installation of Windows on a PC in my life. So I was actually thinking of sort of reinstalling Windows, and then I thought, well, I'm still on Windows 10. Maybe I should take this opportunity just to go to Windows 11, because I've been waiting so much and so long now for when I upgrade my motherboard and CPU. It's turned into a bit of a joke, and the new AMD reviews has come out, and they're not looking that great. And I'm thinking, oh, what do I do? So I thought, oh, sod it. I'll back everything up anyway. Anything that's important on my C drive, back that up so it's out of the way. And if I do decide to reinstall Windows, I can do that. But then I proceeded to remove pretty much everything from my Windows install. Got rid of everything. Did a fresh install of my NVIDIA drivers. Used DDU, the Direct Drive Run Installer program.
Yeah.
DDU. Did that. Did everything. So playing about, I say earlier today, and it's still got to that point. I'm like, what is going on? And I thought the only thing I haven't done is actually swap the DisplayPort cable, which was a new cable. So I thought, I can't see that being the problem. So this coincided with me with uninstalling SteamVR and the app as well, and then reinstalling them. But I swapped my DisplayPort cable out, reinstalled SteamVR, reinstalled the app, and all of a sudden it worked.
Yeah.
And it's like, seriously, did it just decide to work? Did have I swapped something about in the back and then the installation order kicked it in? Was it the DisplayPort cable? You sort of think, really? How? But for me, it's been the most hassle I've ever had trying to get a VR headset to work since the DK1 and DK2 days. And they were dev kits. And those drivers varied drastically from revision to revision. So you sort of expected problems. But for a commercial sort of headset, this is the worst experience I've ever had setting one up. But it's working. Yeah. It's working now. But
it's working now anyway. Yeah. I mean, mine wasn't as bad as yours, but it wasn't flawless, and I'm still running into a couple of problems with the tracking where it's really the right controller. It will occasionally, and I mean occasionally, because I was watching Paradise Decay's video actually before this, and he was having problems where the controller was sort of going into 3DOF mode, so it wasn't having any 6DOF functionality. It'd stay there for a few seconds and then go back.
Yeah.
He seemed to be having that all the time. I've had it probably about 3 times since I've been testing it for. I don't know, maybe 2 hours I've been testing it in total, 3 hours possibly. I'm not even sure. I went in a lot longer yesterday than I did today. So there's still these little issues. I don't know what more I can do with this Bluetooth adapter because it's on a 5-meter extension cable. It's over the other side of my office. My office is not big anyway, so it's not like it was ever that far away. So I find it difficult to believe that there's any interference or anything like that with it now. It feels like it's something else, but it's not a huge issue for me anyway. That's not. It's just something that's happened a couple of times.
Is the cable too long, or maybe it's the USB port it's plugged into or something?
It's possibly. I mean, I have swapped the USB ports that it's plugged into, but the thing is, it's not happening often enough to isolate what could be causing it. If you know what I mean, it's difficult to know. It could be the cable, but it's the only decent USB extension I've got really at the moment. So I'd need to order something else. But,
I mean, I did see sort of. I was watching Zimtok's stream when he was playing about with it, and he was having the same problem. His controller would suddenly I can't remember whether it was his left or his right controller, but just one of them, would suddenly lock in 3D space, and he could rotate it round, but you could see it was physically locked in position, and then it'd snap out.
That's exactly what happened.
And then it'd snap out of it again. I've not experienced that at all.
Interesting.
Fortunately, so far.
See, when I went to PDs, I had the issue with it locking up. But, I mean, you guys can see my camera, but I'll try and describe what I'm doing for people listening. Is if you put your arm out in front of you and just freeze it, but you're actually moving your arm around like this with the controller, but it's just stuck there. And then all of a sudden it'll just slowly come back in, but it's delayed.
Oh,
I don't know if you've had that problem where it's got some sort of latency issue.
No, it's not been like that for me. I've never had that one. No.
Yeah.
It's just been stuck.
You don't know, do we? We don't know if it's a Bluetooth issue, if it's a Sony driver issue. There's so many different configurations for PCs. From what I saw yesterday, because unfortunately, I mean, I missed all this out, but I could see it all unraveling on Twitter and private chat that the majority of folks are having an absolute nightmare with all this. So, I mean, it's all right, Sony's saying we recommend this and we recommend that cable and this Bluetooth, but they've obviously not tested it on... They can't test it on every single PC going, but I would have preferred them to include a Bluetooth dongle and a cable that they have rigorously tested on the majority of PCs, so you won't have this problem.
It shouldn't have even been an included dongle. The adapter should have been built into the, into the box.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Yeah,
why
but
not?
I've heard more possibly like licensing issues and things like that could be more money for Sony. That I know you're saying, but I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying it could be something like that. That they just want to put the box out. It's like a do-it-yourself kit. But we don't want a do-it-yourself kit. We want something that plug and plays at work. It's not you've got to buy bits for it to get it to work, and then, oh, by the way, it might not work, and you might have to spend 2 days fixing it to get it to work. Nobody wants to do that.
No, this reminds me of like some of the days where with the Rift CV1 as well, where people were getting these extra sensors and the USB connections on the motherboards were causing really big problems for some people. This is the same type of thing, but in 2024, not 2016, and I feel like it's unacceptable really that people are having all these widespread. This is the thing, it's not isolated, and I'm not saying like mine is pretty much set up, I can't do the play space or anything, and it's pretty much flawless in terms of most aspects, but I'm still finding it very buggy in places anyway, regardless of that.
And I think the thing to remember as well is there are plenty of people out there who've installed this, got it up and running, and it's just worked for them. And you can see them saying, "Well, it just works. There's nothing wrong with it." But it's very much like the Rift CV1, where for me, when I got mine, I plugged it in. I mean, I'm still using that PCI Express USB 3 card. I've still got that in my PC. I bought that and plugged all my USB some of my USB cables into that for the Rift CV1, and I never had a problem in that regard, apart from when Oculus, of course, characteristically did balk the drivers for a month at one point, not long after launch, and that caused major problems, but then they sorted the drivers out and it was fine again. But for me, it was fine, but for other people, it was just an absolute nightmare. And it's the same again. Just because it might be working for you, it doesn't mean it's working for everybody. And you just look online and it's
I'm hoping that something comes up soon with some sort of table where people are putting what Bluetooth adapters are working. But then again, someone's might be working for one person, might not work for another. This is the issue that we seem to be having.
The issues are widespread enough to know that it's not just user error a lot of the time.
Oh, definitely not
now with this, and that's the thing, because you can say it worked for me, therefore it's something that you're doing, but that's not always the case. We all know that. We've all been doing this for long enough to understand that that's not necessarily always the case. So, but anyway, we should probably get on to like first impressions of actually using it on PC itself. Rog, what did you think once you got it all set up and stuff?
And it was actually working. Well, look, I think we'd all had our expectations raised drastically by some of the absolutely ridiculous hyperbolic posts that have been going around saying this is the sharpest thing ever. It looks crystal clear. It's amazing. It isn't. I think it looks good. I like the colours and the black level again, and the sort of extra FOV over a Quest, and the better binocular overlap compared to a Quest. I really like that, and I've said this in the past. It's just, it's just so nice compared to a Quest. But I don't know. I'd been sort of hyped up a bit, I think, by a lot of these posts saying this is really sharp and everything, and this is not as clear as I can get my Quest over Wi-Fi 6E and AV1. It's just not as sharp. It's better in other ways, definitely, but it's also worse in other ways. I just don't understand what people are looking at. And I think we've been saying this on Discord, haven't we? It's like, what is going on? I think there's some severe clickbait articles going around.
It's not on the clarity of the Quest 3, not in a million years.
No.
And it could be a lens problem, it could be a softness issue. I mean, it does remind me, because I've got the PSVR 1 now, I can see big similarities between that and the PSVR 2. The slightly softer image, it's a little more blurry around the edges. It's very arcadey. I always say this word arcadey. If you're going to play like an arcade game,
I get what you mean, though. I get what you mean about that.
Look, right? And it's got that soft kind of look, but saying that Resident Evil 4 looked pretty decent, but it's still got that kind of soft, blurry kind of image to it, and it's coming across showing exactly the same thing in PC VR for me.
But you put that list on, Rog, on Discord, because I mentioned Tyria Wood's video where he mentioned the diffuser on the lenses. And it made sense to me that that's why, because no matter how much you increase the resolution scaling in Steam VR, you can't get it. I can't get it like to be as sharp as the Quest 3.
No.
I just can't. Nothing I do, even if I ramp it all the way up to, it's still not sharp. And that made sense to me when Tyrion would mention that diffuser on the lenses, because I honestly forgot all about it. And the original PSVR had that as well, that diffuser to prevent the screen door effect. And this thing as well, you mentioned other things like it's got this pentile OLED display, so you got fewer subpixels.
Well, I don't know if it's actually pentile or if I think it might be stripe. It might just be a striped display. It's just it's 2 subpixels.
Yeah,
it's 2 subpixels per pixel instead of 3. So there's that. There's the Miura. The FOV is larger with a slightly less screen resolution than the Quest. So you're getting a wider sort of view with slightly less pixels. Everything adds up to a softer image.
Yeah.
The problem I have when I first went in was I just didn't think it looked that great. And I went into a Half-Life Alyx as everyone did. It wasn't the first thing I went into, but I thought everybody's going into Half-Life Alyx and we're seeing all these impressions of it because it's what gets people's attention. Half-Life Alyx does. All these PSVR 2 owners want to come across and
it's
and
kind
give
of
it
an
a try.
unwritten law, right? New graphics card, new headset. You've got to load up Half-Life Alyx to see if it makes you look any better.
I actually haven't. It's one thing I haven't actually loaded up.
Well, the thing is, it runs great. It looks okay. It's just not sharp. It's not as sharp as when I play in the Quest 3. And the thing that people are clinging on to is, and I agree, like the colours and the black levels are good. It's got that OLED display. The Miura, I feel, is really prevalent in certain titles as well. The thing is, what I'll say is, if you put a lot of weight into the colours and the black levels and the advantages of that OLED display over a clear, crisp, sharp image, then this headset is going to be for you, because there are people like that. They just want those vibrant colours. And I can understand it. It's just I do not fall in that camp at all. I'd much rather have that really sharp image.
I'm absolutely torn. I'm absolutely torn between the two things at the moment, because every time I've ever put my PSVR 2 back on, it's like, the black levels, the colours, it just looks so good. Bizarrely, because I've been playing a lot of PSVR 2 with that spin rhythm recently. And in that, when you look at it, it's like, I can see a bit of aliasing in places and whatever. But at no point in that, when I've been playing that game, did I ever think, that looks sort of soft. It's really odd. I need to go back to Red Matter 2 on PSVR 2 as well, because I've got that in my head of that being just absolutely crisp as anything.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, because I thought, why can't I, even if I ramp up super sampling, why can I not get it to look how I remember Red Matter 2 looking on the PS5? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you think
don't
it's
understand
an app thing? Because a Sony app that needs a couple of, it definitely needs tweaking. I think we all agree on that. But maybe it's something there and that they can alter with a few firmware.
The only difference,
or is it?
The only difference from a visual point of view is the so-called HDR. But I've been finding that the brightness levels on this for PC
are very bright.
They are bright. They are absolutely they are bright. There was points I was playing. It was Dirt Rally 2, and it was a daytime thing anyway. But there was something just reflected off something on the inside of my car, and I just for a second got that exact same feeling as when I was playing GT7, where you got like a really bright reflection that you just don't get when you're using like a Quest. And it just caught my eye and it surprised me.
Yeah. So I went into No Man's Sky as well just to test it on this. There's something, so we could talk about, because the resolution scaling, I stuck it on 100% initially, right? And the automatic slider where it puts that line on the render resolution in Steam VR, it was trying to get me up to about 150%, but that was giving me like a resolution of well over 4,000 by 4,000, which is insane.
The default 100%, I think, is something like 3,400, just over 3,400 by 3,400 per eye, which is ludicrous. It's absolutely insane.
And so I asked you what you were running on, and you were saying like 50%.
I've dropped it to 50%, which to start with, which gives you 2,400 by 2,400 per eye, which is like larger, which is like probably somewhere in the region of 300 to 400 pixels in each direction, larger than the actual panels. So you're getting some super sampling anyway. And
it's
I can't tell that. super sampling is one of those things where you get to a certain point with me, and it's lost on me on any headset. Once you've gone to sort of like 150%, it's like I can't tell the difference. And on this, I literally can't. Maybe I need to try different games and different tests, but I literally can't tell the difference between that 50% and the 100%. I just can't perceive it.
I was going to mention that game then. I've totally forgot which one it was. What's the one where you've like sort of like crash landed on a planet and there's dinosaurs and things, and when you super sample, when you add that up actually in game, it makes a massive difference.
I know. Yeah. Robinson the Journey.
That's it. Robinson the Journey. That might be worth having a look at. See if that makes any difference when you start banging the sampling up. Because on PC VR, it makes a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I went so. When I started initially on that 100%, I went into No Man's Sky and it was completely unplayable. I felt like there was something, because I'd go into Half-Life Alyx, and I know that's got that automatic resolution adjustment anyway, but various other things I was going into, and it was running fine. No Man's Sky didn't just feel like performance issues, and I'm not exaggerating, it was less than 1 frame per second when I went into the game itself. So menu was fine, loading was fine. I go into the game and it's literally, no exaggeration, less than 1 frame per second. So I thought, well, this is not a performance issue. This is something severely wrong with, this is something else. So I ended up lowering it down to 50%, right? And I went into No Man's Sky again, and I could move around. It was in constant reprojection. I was getting those black bars whenever I turned my head, all the usual signs that it's just not. And something's not right in that game in terms of how it's being rendered with this headset. I don't know what it is. And again, I've seen other people mention the same thing. There's some weird things going on with certain titles that I've tried in this. Now, as I mentioned, Half-Life Alyx works flawlessly, which is probably good because a lot of people are going to be playing that, I would imagine. But there's some weird stuff going on with these drivers, I think, as well, which hopefully they'll, do updates over time to resolve some of this stuff, I would hope. But it's there's some weird stuff with that. Yeah. But like you, on that point, Rog, with the resolution, I will say that going from 100% down to 50%, there is a difference, and I noticed it in the blue, I think, or something. There was something with text where I turned to my right, to my left, and I saw some text that was there, and it was shimmering more than it was on 100%. But the difference is so small to what you think it would be in this headset. Yeah. And I think it's got to be because of that diffuser as well. It's sort of blending everything together, so you don't notice the drop.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weird form of anti-aliasing all the time over everything. Yeah. I'm really, honestly, I'm really not that impressed with how this looks. If somebody that, as I mentioned, you like the colours, then that's great. But overall, I'm really, really underwhelmed with how this looks compared to a Quest 3. Personally,
I can tell you about my experience today at PDs. Because you guys have obviously picked up the adapter and given it more testing than me, I can only go on what I tried for the 5 or 10 minutes. In the hour, we tried to get it to work. Because as soon as I got there, put the headset on, fired up Steam VR, Steam error. It wouldn't even load. So PD had to uninstall Steam. Friend of mine, he said it was working this morning fine. So what he's done is just tried to play it again, like you would do with any other headset, launch a game. So Steam was erroring. He had to uninstall Steam, reinstall it, reboot several times, and then it worked. Yeah. Imagine doing that every day when you switch your PC on. So then we go into Half-Life Alyx, and I said, but the controllers, because it shows you the actual PlayStation controllers, doesn't it? And they're moving around. And I thought, there's no tracking problems here. It's working fine. He went, no, just wait till you start playing. So I was picking the gnome up, started playing the game, and I looked down, and my arm was missing. My left arm. I thought, what's going on? Where's my arm? And it was like stuck like that, frozen next to me. And it wasn't as if I was moving 3D off. I couldn't move anything. It was just froze. Right. And that was for 10, 15 seconds. And then it would come back, like I said, but it would be delayed. So I've been moving the controller, and it would be like this. So I've been moving my left hand, and it'd been moving slowly across after it. And then I asked him, I felt immediately sick within 5 minutes. I don't know how you guys felt, but I said, I feel sick. What frame rate's it on? And I think it sets the default to 90 in Steam. I don't know if you guys have checked that or not.
It does, because I turned it up to 120.
Yeah, that's what I told PD today. I said, bang it on 120. Let's load it up again. Let's see if I can stop it making me feel sick. There's some sort of weird motion thing going off, but we loaded it at 120, went to start the game, the controllers had disappeared. I could feel the haptics in the controllers.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see any pointers or nothing. I went, dude, it's gone, the controllers are gone, they're not even showing up. So we had to restart the PC again, load everything up again to get in, and the controllers were there, and I managed to get in, and it did run smooth. It did look, I'd say look better. I'm with you, Gary. I think and Roger, it looks good, but I don't think it's as good as what it looks in the Quest 3. But then again, that's just my opinion. Other people seem to be saying how great it is. Bizarre, it is a little soft. The mirror's really quite strong on Alex. I don't know how much you played, Gary, but I went to a part where there's quite a lot of lights, and just moving your head slightly, it's just a real bad mess of fog, and that was putting me off. The controller issues were putting me off. And after 5 minutes, I said, I've seen all I want to. I will stress again, like what Gary Rogers said, the colours look really nice. I looked down at the puddle. There's one part in the game where I think you go through and it lines up like an eye shape, doesn't it, before you do a little puzzle. And it all comes up, and the puddles on the floor look fantastic. I said, that looks the clearest black I think I've seen in a game. But for all the softness in the mirror, and it doesn't feel right to me at all. And I said, I've seen all I want to see. I don't want to have another go again.
It's bizarrely, it feels. I get what you mean. The image quality feels more like a console experience, but you're on PC than an actual PC experience.
That's exactly it.
It's No, go on, Rog. You go ahead.
I can say, for all of that though, I've been through a few things this afternoon, and it's like I've had some of the stuff I do like. I mean, the good old air car, I jumped into that, and it's nowhere. It isn't just not as sharp as the Quest 3, no. But it's again the colours and the black levels and that sort of, especially sort of taller FOV on the PSVR 2. Was it Terrier who posted some numbers? Because somebody did an FOV benchmark, and his numbers. Oh, is it Voodoo DE? Sorry, yeah,
but
and the numbers came out lower than Quest 3, and I thought, absolute, no way. There's something wrong there, and I'm wondering if, because again, using the PSVR 2, even on the PC, I'm sure it's the world scale. Everything seems bigger and closer, and so if that's at a different world scale, to say like another headset, because everything may be slightly zoomed in. The numbers are just going to be wrong, because there's no way in hell that PSVR 2 has got a smaller FOV than Quest 3.
There's
absolutely no way.
With Voodoo as well, I'll be surprised. I've not seen that video, but I'll be very surprised if he doesn't caveat that heavily, because he came under a load of criticism for field of view numbers on various headsets, and since then he's always said, these are my numbers. These are the figures I get. I can only give you my numbers, and I seem to have. And he does go to caveat all of that stuff, because I think he's like I say, he's come under criticism for his field of view numbers before.
Yeah, there's no need. There's no need for numbers though. You take both headsets and go from one to the other, and it's blatant. PSVR 2 has just got a better FOV, and
absolutely,
and blatantly less binocular overlap as well.
Yeah.
I had a mate round the other day. It was actually the release day for the adapter, and obviously it's probably a good job it didn't turn up on release day, because we'd have spent all day trying to get it working. But it's the first time he tried PSVR 2, and I said, look for the binocular overlap, and he goes, I can't see it. He goes, oh, maybe if I turn all my way to the left or to the right, because then your eyes are hitting the inside of the lenses, aren't they?
Yeah.
But other than that, he's like, it's just so much better than Quest.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'll say as well that the way I'm talking about this headset on PC is really coming from the fact that I've also got a Quest 3. If you've only got this headset and you're trying it on a PC, I'll say the software's buggy and you might run into issues with tracking on the Bluetooth and stuff. I think, we need to put that out there. That is an issue, a widespread issue that some people are having. But I don't think it looks bad enough. I'm not saying that the image quality is actually that bad. If you're playing Half-Life Alyx, it doesn't look terrible or anything like that in terms of resolution. What I'm saying is, from my point of view, when I compare it to the Quest 3, it just looks so much sharper on the Quest 3. And I want to just balance that out. I'm not saying, I've used a lot of different headsets, and I'm not saying everybody has access to, the Quest 3 and the PSVR 2 where they've got a choice. So I think you're going to get a good enough experience in something like Half-Life Alyx, definitely with the PSVR 2. For me, it just doesn't fit in with me using it for PC. It just doesn't. That's where I'm coming from.
This is where I'm torn, because for me, that they say that extra. It's not massive, but it's just that extra bit of FOV. It's just noticeable for me every time. The colours and the black levels are just noticeable for me. Noticeable to me every single time. I jumped into Kayak VR, and it's just like put it on the Norway stage at night with the storm, and that just looked. It's like, oh god, yeah. The image is slightly softer than on PC, but for me, the actual overall image, everything taken into consideration, it was better. It's better than on the Quest. It's just, everything about it, that OLED makes a massive difference. But again, I'm sort of struggling with that versus the sharpness, like you say, and it's a bit of a battle. It might, for me personally, it might actually come down to specific content about which headset I prefer. Because if you're playing like a horror game or something at night, it's like there's no question I'd rather play it in the PSVR 2. It's just better. It just makes such a difference. I can play a game like, a horror game or a nighttime game fine in the Quest 3, and but I will notice the sort of like the greys, whatever you want to call it. The backlight of the screen. It is blatant, and it's something I just wish would, go away.
Perhaps I don't notice that so much, though. But, constantly using the Quest 3, I don't think the blacks are... Well, they're definitely nowhere near as bad as what they were on the Quest 2. And, like, using the using the PSVR 2 today, yes, I can see that the blacks really are deep and black. I've got an OLED TV, so I know what I'm looking at. Yeah. But is it a million miles off? Meh. Well, for me, not really,
This is the thing. I think there are just different people that focus on different things with this kind of stuff. I mean, it's absolutely the case, because I'm the same as you. I've always said this. Whenever we talk about OLEDs and stuff, I'm not somebody that obsesses over those black levels as much as I know a lot of other people do, and that's the thing they want. And I can understand it. I'm not saying that one position is right and one position is wrong. It's where you put emphasis, I think, in any of these headsets. And I put more emphasis, like the sacrifice of that clarity and that crispness of image in the Quest 3 is not worth the better colours, whereas for you, Rog, it might be the opposite, exactly the opposite of that.
It's a struggle. I think it would entirely depend on content. It really would. If you're playing something where it's daylight and it's nice and bright and everything, then maybe the Quest 3 would be the way to go for me. It depends entirely what I'll be looking at. I tried good old 2076 Midway Multiverse, the side sort of scrolling shoot 'em up, and just that look. Even that, it's an arcade side scrolling shooter, and even that just looked good because of the colour made it. It just looked better, and the resolution was good enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have. Like we were saying at the beginning, really, there's been a lot of content on this, a lot of impressions on Twitter and stuff, where people are saying how clear and how sharp it is and this kind of stuff.
Wow moment springs to mind. Well, somebody posted that.
But
the wow moment was, wow, this is so bad, I want to smash it to pieces. That's my wow moment.
But yeah, I mean, I can't relate to that from that specific point of view with a headset. I'm not, again, I think you can still have a great time with it in spite of the bugginess and problems that we've mentioned, if it's your only headset. But I just can't relate to that. And the thing is, what I was thinking about earlier today is, if this was a no-name brand, if somebody had just brought out this headset and they had no reputation at all, they brought it out, people would not be giving it the time of day. It's got that OLED display. That's the one interesting thing about it. It's got that OLED display. But
it's
imagine
not great,
getting
though, is it?
No, but imagine
it's not fantastic OLED display. I mean, we've used the Apple. Well, me and Gary's used the Apple headset, so I mean, obviously there's a price discrepancy between the two.
But
you're getting a poorer quality OLED screen, which is given that mirror and stuff. But I've said this before. Do you guys remember on the original Quest that the blacks, was the mirror in that or what? Because I just got no memory of seeing anything like that.
There was mirror on the original Quest. Yeah, there was a little bit. Was
it as bad as what it is in the PSVR 2 though? Because I see it like every time I stop and move my head slightly, it's there like constantly in Half-Life Alyx.
Do you know what? For some bizarre reason, I've been noticing the mirror more. Maybe I've been looking for it. Maybe that's the problem.
Is it the resolution thing you think that's showing it up more?
I don't know, but
it's there. It's clearly there.
I swear I've noticed it more today than I have through my entire the past year and whatever of using PSVR 2. I've noticed it more today for some bizarre reason.
I could really notice it in Half-Life Alyx, really. I mean, in like Resident Evil 4, I could see it, but it wasn't as bad as what it was in Half-Life Alyx. So is that, again, because the settings that they've got the Steam VR settings at, with you guys lowering it down to 50%? But
it's a physical property of the display.
Yeah,
but
it's just showing more.
Should not matter.
It shouldn't matter, no. And it's weird because I feel the same. I feel I'm noticing it more on PC than I do on the PS5 for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's more... I don't know if it's because I'm so used to seeing the things that I'm playing without that and that transition or something. I don't know. Yeah. But what I was going to say about this headset, imagine if you got this from a no-name brand and... You got it out of the box and then you had to get a display port separately. You had to get a Bluetooth dongle and things like that. These are the things that people would really heavily criticise, and they're giving a lot of benefit of doubt. I think there's double standards going on with how this performs on PC anyway. Honestly, I think that's the case. And especially as well, I'll say, if this had the name Pimax on the front, there'll be people that are bashing it who are fawning over it at the moment as well. Because this exact same spec of headset could come out with that kind of thing and it would automatically get disregarded. I know it would. So personally, I think...
they disregard it. It'd get slaughtered.
Exactly, yeah.
If it had another name on it. If Pimax did this, they would get crucified.
Yeah. So that's where we're coming from. And look, I've mentioned the OLED display. It's the one thing which I think is the interesting thing because we don't get... during the sale, it's 350 quid. It is a very good price for a PC VR headset with an OLED display. That's part of the reason why you want it to be good. You want it to be a replacement for the Reverb G2 for a lot of people. That it's hitting, even at that £500 price, it's hitting that Reverb G2 market, which a lot of people are interested in. This does not look as sharp as a Reverb G2. I cannot understand anybody that would make that, say that this is exactly as sharp in... again, I've not used a Reverb G2 for a very long time, so I could be misremembering that as well. It's difficult. Yeah. I mentioned earlier, like the Valve Index comparison. I was thinking maybe this is sort of it looks a little bit like that Valve Index kind of resolution level or something like that. But somebody on Reddit said...
Yeah, you say that, but go on. You've probably seen the same post I have.
No, but somebody on Reddit said that they were coming directly from a Valve Index to using this, and they said it is a bump in resolution. So again, when you've not used a headset for a long time, it's difficult to remember this stuff. But
and you can't compare Fresnel lenses to pancake lenses. They're a totally different thing. And I know some people say like pancake lenses are the death of VR, but no, they're not. And yeah, just to see that difference, but like you say, but I don't use a PSVR 2. I kind of feel a little bit bad that Gary's had it now. You know what I mean? After using that at PDs today and going through all that, look, it might get firmware. It's going to get firmware updates. It's got to. Whether the tracking issues, Bluetooth related, or if it is something to do with the Sony app, it's got to get sorted out one way or another. It's it's been out one day. Yeah. What we're on with Oculus now. What we're on 68, 69, something like that. It's going to get software updates. Hopefully, Sony, if you're listening, to rectify some of these issues, perhaps even and make it better. But for me, after trying it, I wouldn't get one for PC VR. I'd still use my Quest 3, but I'm going to get slaughtered now if people say, well, I'd sooner have direct port over compression. But I'd sooner have that super clear view and the sharpness and have a very, very slight compression, which I've never really seen anyway when I've been playing. It's not that bad to me.
I do not back on when I had Quest 2 and whatever version of Airlink and the cables we had back then.
Yeah.
I just hated it. I really couldn't use it. I used my Rift S a lot. But once I'd upgraded the graphics card, once I got a Quest 3, and once I got Virtual Desktop especially, with the AV1 encoding as well, it's like I have got no problems with that image quality at all.
No.
The Miura, which it does, I can see it, but it doesn't bother me on PSVR 2. That is still way more noticeable than any compression artifacts on my setup personally.
If anything, it's made me realise within 10 minutes of using it just today, this is 10 minutes by the way, I had to go on it, is how good the Quest 3 really is at both standalone and PC VR. For me, again, I will say in my user experience, I mean, I played Lone Echo too, and I have to run that on super low graphics and stuff, and it just blew my mind because the lenses and the clarity was that good still on low that I could play that game on my PC.
And
The one thing I've been thinking about actually was back to when I first tried Gary's Pimax, and it's like that panel. If they could just get it so much cheaper, I think that panel's the compromise at the moment. You know, it's like very good sort of local dimming because it's like if like I said, I've said this before when we've talked about that. We talked about the Crystal. If you'd have told me that was an OLED headset, I'd have believed it. You know, the colours were good, the black levels were good, the resolution was good. You know, it's the perfect sort of that seems to be the sort of perfect combination for where we're at the moment. I
feel like the overall brightness of the PSVR 2 is better. I mean, that's the thing. It does feel like there's certain sections like you'll look up to I remember around PD's house when I first tried it actually on GT7 and the sun and the opening scene and stuff, and you got the sun and you're almost squinting in the headset. It's that bright. Which doesn't happen on many headsets.
There was a funny thing when say I was showing my mate the PSVR 2 the other day, and I put him onto my spare account and let him go through the entire eye tracking setup. And his reaction when, you follow the dot around, don't you, on the black screen to set up the eye tracking, then it changes it to white.
Yeah.
And his actual physical reaction to that was so bad, it screwed up the setup process and he had to go through it again. It took him about 3 or 4 attempts to get through that screen.
Yeah, it is, because you do that same thing on the Pimax Crystal as well. And I don't remember it being, because that is quite harsh. That is on the PSVR 2. But that's the thing. It's got advantages. Every time I talk about the PSVR 2, I feel like I'm just bashing it all the time, and I don't want to. I don't want to be that way. And also, I think once again, if this is your only headset, it has much more value than for a lot of enthusiasts that also have a Quest 3. That's the thing. It's difficult to judge it from without that comparison, because to me, for PC VR, the Quest 3 beats it, honestly. Not to say it's not got some advantages over the Quest 3, but those advantages don't matter as much as the advantages that the Quest 3 has for me.
I agree.
And that's where I fall on it, really. So, honestly, I've actually initiated a return of this adapter. I'm not going to send it back straight away. I've got till September the 8th. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to see if they release any updates over the next couple of weeks or something like that, just to maybe hopefully resolve some of the issues. Like I say, at the moment, it's not that bad. Anyway, I'm not really having that many problems with it today when I went in.
Have you played Elite?
Not yet, no. So that's one I'm going to try. I was going to try that today. I just didn't have time to really do it today. But
I'm hearing mixed reports on Lone Echo 2. Some people are saying it's working. Some people are saying it isn't. So
I've never used Revive to get like Oculus software working with Steam VR. So I've not looked at any of that stuff yet.
I've heard some games are working. Yeah,
I couldn't get Doom VFR to work either. There's some problems with certain games on this headset for some reason. I don't know why.
It's using OpenXR, right? Is it OpenXR it's using?
Well, it's Valve's implementation, isn't it? It's Steam VR open, or is it? OpenXR, or whatever.
Yeah,
their version of it.
Yeah, it's Steam, which is OpenVR. But then
OpenVR.
OpenVR, that's it. Yeah.
I always get them two mixed up. So
it's and that is the weakest implementation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the weakest
compared to the Oculus version or to like VDXR. It's definitely the weakest.
Yeah,
but performance-wise, the stuff I've tried. I mean, I went through the lab. I did robot repair. I had a look at the Blue Air Car, Son of Jaguar. The old Google Spotlight story animation.
Did you do the Blue? Did you say then, Rog?
Yeah.
Did you have? So this is weird, and I mentioned this yesterday to you. But I went into the Blue. I was monitoring frame rate. It was well under 11 milliseconds for that 90, and I was getting smooth. Well, according to the frame timing graph, I was getting like 90 frames per second solid, but I was getting reprojection on the controllers. Everywhere it was all in reprojection, even though it was showing 90 solid on the graph. I can't make head nor tail of it. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know why that was happening.
I only tried the Whale experience, but I was at 120 hertz, and I would have to say it was flawless.
I'd have to go back in and see what I can sort with that. I have tried some stuff on 120, but I've mainly been using 90 really.
I want to know how the public feel about this. You know what I mean? Because we only see what content creators and our friends who are, I say, geeky as us, into tech and stuff, who've got the time and perseverance to keep, going through all these problems to try and get it to work like you guys have. But the normal person ain't going to do this. They're not going to plug it in and go, what's going on? I've got no... It keeps switching me Steam off. It errors. My controllers aren't appearing. Smash it to bits.
This is the worrying
That's
thing.
What I do.
I wonder if people because there's a lot of people out there, aren't there, who've gone and bought a PC to use this. I'm wondering if people with a fresh Windows install with nothing else on there to get in the way, and driver-wise and stuff. Because I actually uninstalled all the Oculus. I've not got any Oculus software on my machine at the moment either. I cleared out everything I could. Yeah. To try and get this working. I wonder if people with like a fresh, nice Windows install will have less of a problem. Because I think OVR advanced settings causes an issue or something?
Does it? I don't know if it does. I don't know.
Somebody was. I can't remember what it was. There's one of the or is it one of the advanced? One of the things you can get for Steam VR, advanced VR settings type things.
You have to turn it off,
somebody said they had major issues until they uninstalled that.
Oh, right.
So it's like
maybe that's worth
conflicts
trying.
Everywhere.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's difficult to know exactly what's causing this type of stuff. I think the frustration comes in to effect where you put your Quest 3 or even Pimax. Like, I can connect my Pimax and there's no issues at all. This is the thing. So I think if I could connect the Quest 3, if I can connect the Pimax and there's no issues on my machine in any games, why is it affecting this one? It's got to be something to do with the drivers, you would think, or something. It's frustrating to do that, but. Like you've done, Rog, I am actually just contemplating maybe just doing a clean install of Windows anyway, just for, multitude of reasons. Maybe I'll do that. It's been probably more than a year, I don't know, since I've done a clean install. So I'll probably do that. But it is frustrating.
It's a user experience, right? It's the user experience. Because we have a great experience on Meta. Now, look, I'm not a Meta fanboy before anybody says so.
Sound like it.
Don't particularly like them at all, if I'm honest. After shutting Reddit door down as well, that's really got on my nerves. But it's just the ease, like you say, Gary, of just loading up virtual desktop or just sticking the cable and connecting to it, and it just fires up Oculus and off you go, and you're in. And that's what we were hoping, that it was going to be the same sort of experience once you bought all your extra bits that you need to connect to your PC, that you're just going to plug in and you're going to pop Steam on and up pops Half-Life Alyx or whatever you want to play, and in you go. But it's just not turned out like that.
Well, the thing is, some people are having that experience. That's the thing. You read on Reddit, some people are having major issues. Like AJ from Without Parole, PSVR Underground.
He did like a 3.5 hour stream using like Joy-Con games because using Gamepad because his controllers weren't working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was watching actually an interesting thing, which I don't know if you've experienced this, Rog, thinking about it, but Petrifying Pumpkins went in doing a live stream just before we started recording this. And he was
Scorpio is too.
What's that?
Okay.
Scorpio's doing one too, where he's unboxing it and getting it all set up. Point, dude, you're just opening the camera.
I'll have to watch that.
Do not do this live.
It might.
We'll have to cut across when we're finished and see where he's at.
It might be flawless. Hopefully it is.
That's what I said to him.
Yeah. I was thinking because in the Petrifying Pumpkins live stream, he was playing Phasmophobia, but whenever you bring up the Steam VR overlay, it was going down to like 1 frame a second. For some reason, and the overlay wasn't appearing. This is something else which I've experienced. So in No Man's Sky, which already was running at 1 frame per second, initially I couldn't get the overlay to display, and there was something else, I can't remember which, it might have been, I honestly can't remember, it with the blue or something else that I've been trying where I've pressed that and it won't show up the Steam VR overlay, and it will drop down in frame rate to a point where you can't do anything. Have you experienced anything like that either, Rog?
No, you've had a drastically... Well, I mean, I had all my problems yesterday. I had an entire day of this just does not work. Whereas today, once it started working, it's been working fine. Everything works as well as you'd expect it to.
Yeah.
I've not had any problems since.
Am I going to have to do a clean install of Windows to get this?
My Windows isn't a clean install. It's just I took it back as far as I could.
Yeah.
Uninstall everything.
You have to chicken bleep what Gary just said, but
well, this one's not going on the podcast thing, so we can.
Oh no, it's just going on YouTube, right?
YouTube, yeah. So it don't really matter anyway.
This was supposed to be a quick chat about.
Yeah, we should probably start wrapping up anyway, shouldn't we? Really?
Look, I've had 2 hours sleep.
So anyway, I guess that's sort of a bit mixed thoughts on it anyway. From my point of view, it won't replace my Quest 3 for PC VR. There's no way it's going to do that. I can see the advantages of it. Rog, you seem a bit more conflicted on it.
For me at the moment, it feels like it'll be 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, there will be some stuff I prefer in the Quest. There'll be some stuff I prefer in PSVR 2, as long as it keeps on working. I'm so tempted to swap my display cable back just for science.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm so nervous that it'll just mess it all up again.
Oh, just very quickly, going on to the issue where I had at PD's where the left controller kept freezing. He told me that this morning when he was recording, it was the right controller. So...
Oh, right. Oh, in his video, yeah, it was his right controller in the video he published today. Yeah, that's
it
right.
was left when I was doing it. He said, I can't record you or anything because I'm busy editing the video. And then I thought, thank God, I look like death because I'm shattered and I don't want to stand there and do an hour's video. Well, we were there an hour for my 5 minutes play.
Oh, right. Well, yeah.
Let's hope that improves. If everything gets working all right, I'd like to see all the games in it. Like I said to you, Gary, I want to see Lone Echo 2. I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, with those like colours and... I really want to see...
If you're coming from PSVR 2 on PS5 without not used PC before, maybe you'll be more impressed. Because there's some there's graphically impressive stuff on PC. So, maybe that'll be better because you can be able to, if you've got a decent setup, run some graphically impressive games at a non-reprojected frame rate.
Yeah.
Like most of the stuff is on PS5.
Well, yeah.
So it's going to look better.
It may look good. It looked good. Half-Life Alex did look good. I looked at the gun. I was moving it about. It was really nice and smooth. I got no frame jerkiness. But it just... The quality of the image for me, the blurriness on the edges, some of the... I was more attracted to the artifacts and the Miura and some other bits. But then I was looking at other parts, like the monsters, the head crab and that, and they look really good. And they look really detailed. So it's like... It's really strange how you can see so much detail in... It was in small areas for me, and I don't know if that's something to do with the lenses or that's how it is on Sony anyway. I don't know.
But that's the interesting thing that you said earlier, Rog, as well, where you were talking about it as if because you got the bright colours, the deep blacks, but it is a softer image, and then you said the overall image was worth it. See, that's where I differ. It's like I see the bright colours, I see the dark blacks, but the overall image is not good enough. It's not that it's not good enough, because I think it is good enough. It's not like it's a bad image or anything like that. It's only going back to the fact, once again, for me personally, coming from a Quest 3, it's a better overall image on the Quest 3.
Yeah. And then, I mean, poor old Ian Higton with his video.
That was hilarious. That was, that was.
Wow.
Was he having controller issues as well?
No, it just couldn't get it work. It just couldn't get it working at all.
It's his level
is on exactly the same thing as what he's having as well. He bought a new Bluetooth.
He's been a massive proponent of PSVR all this time. Well, VR in general, and he put out a 15-minute video, and he went, "If you're on PC, buy a Quest 3."
That's how he ended it.
That's just not good.
It was
Sony.
The level of frustration he was going through, though. He was just getting slowly more and more frustrated with it.
I was at PD's. I said, look, dude, I can't be bothered with it. In the first couple of errors, I've got to uninstall and reinstall Steam. I took headset off. I went, don't bother.
Yeah.
Just don't want to go through all that. Just have a look, see what it looks like. I'm not bothered, mate. Just leave it.
Ian Higton's not a technical guy.
No.
Yeah, but this shows up the problem that's going to happen, because a lot of people coming from PS5 to PC for the first time are not going to be, technically savvy on the PC side of things. And if something goes wrong, if they've not got like a PC mate round the corner to come and help them and sort it out, there's going to be a lot of people getting stuck.
Well, probably.
I hope you've enjoyed this extra episode. Tim, I hope you've not listened, dude, and I hope you're well. But
I mean, we have got a Discord if we've not put you off by now.
We've got a Discord. Go check out the Discord. Come join us. Be one of us.
Come and tell us where we're going wrong on this.
Come tell us about your experiences. If you've had a really good experience, let us know in the Discord and tell us what Bluetooth you're using, what DisplayPort cable you're using. Tell us a bit about your PC setup. See if we can try and find out some discrepancies somewhere.
Tell us
whether it's some sort of motherboard or
for me though,
it's
not been, for all this Bluetooth problem. The Bluetooth has not been my problem. You know what I mean? It was just.
It's not a problem. Yeah. It's just the fact that you need to do that in the first place. That's the problem. It's like an extension cable. Yeah, come on the Discord and tell us the exact path through your room that you've got the extension cable, so you can all imitate that and try and get some.
How long the cable is, the angles that you've run it.
Yeah.
But saying that though, I did have the issue with the Bluetooth. But with a mod mic, I don't think I can get this on camera. There it is, look. I've just got it on camera for you guys to see. That's my extension cable with the mod mic adapter that just kept cutting out continuously when it was plugged into the PC.
Yeah.
I never realised this was an issue actually with USB connections until because was it Steve mentioned it in our Discord?
He mentioned his Logitech mouse, which bizarrely is something I've had a problem with in the past as well. The dongle, because that's 2.4 gigahertz wireless as well, isn't it? So Bluetooth.
Yeah,
and I had to move it to a sort of to like a slot further down, I think, to my expansion card, which is away from the motherboard USB connections. And that just solved it. Then my mouse worked fine. But if I move it into into one of several specific USB slots on the motherboard, it just judders and it's a mess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Shall we finish it there then? Lee's got to go bed.
Yeah, I've had like 3 hours sleep. You can't see, for everybody listening, you cannot see my camera that I'm showing Gary
You
and
look
Raj.
so pale.
Swear to God. Yeah, I look like I'm ready to go out for a night drinking vampire blood.
Yeah, all right.
Or being a vampire and drinking blood. See what I mean? Like 2.5 hours sleep.
So how long were we going to make this video? 15, 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Yeah, just cut it all out. Cut me out, dude, altogether if you want.
I think we might be wanting a miracle to edit it down to that much. We're coming up to an hour.
No, just it don't
Half
matter.
an hour. I'm sure we've covered the same things a couple of times, maybe.
No.
Just leave all this bit in.
We don't need to
out.
edit it down. It's not going on the audio thing. It can be as long as it needs to be. It's fine. Just upload it. It's done.
It's just, unfortunately, this is our impressions. You know, I was hoping that one of us would maybe have got a better experience, but that's just how we run. But yeah, some people are having good luck with it. Me, personally, I don't think... This is the thing, would you, very quickly, before we start going on for another 20 minutes, if you've got a PS5, you've got PlayStation Plus, and you've got a PC capable of VR, but you've got no headset, would you recommend a Quest 3, or would you recommend PSVR 2?
PSVR 2 probably, yeah, I would say. I think for that kind of situation, you probably get the best.
Yeah, I think I would because,
And I'd go Quest 3, so there you go.
I think,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good point because on the one hand, you're getting the library from PS5.
Yeah.
But
because you've got the PlayStation Plus. But what if you've not got PlayStation Plus?
Yeah.
And you've not bothered about Resident Evil games or driving games?
You don't need PlayStation. Well, no, you need PlayStation Plus only if you want to get the few freebies what they've thrown on.
Well, there's quite a few games on there, isn't there? Though there's like
About
Walking Dead and Walkabout Mini Golf, and
yeah.
You know, if you've already got it because you play on the PS5 because that's your main thing that you do.
Oh, right. If you've already got it, then that's an advantage, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I wish I'd put more thought into this question before you asked it, Lee. To be honest, because I don't know.
I reckon I'd still go Quest 3.
Yeah,
I really would.
It is possible. I don't know.
It all depends.
It depends if you're going out all the time. If you're going out with your headset to your friends and stuff, then obviously you're going to want Quest 3, aren't you? But then saying that, I'm stuck in the living room. I don't move from here. I'd still pick Quest 3.
If anybody wants a test, though, for anybody out there who still thinks it's a really ultra sharp image, go to Quest. Assuming you've got maybe Wi-Fi 6 and whatever, go to your Quest 3 and look at a virtual desktop. Look at your desktop in VR and look at how clear it is. Now go and do it with the PSVR 2, and you tell me that's sharper? Because no way, not a chance.
Yeah, it's not sharper. There's no way. But
we should have that as the title. It's not sharper, no way, not a chance. PSVR 2 adapter test.
All right, come on then. We need to get out of here. So thank you for watching. Oh no, listening, watching. It's going to be a watching.
It's Lee's job. He should be doing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Oh
Lee.
yeah.
I forgot who was hosting then.
Remember to come and join us on our Discord and let us know all your thoughts on the PSVR 2 adapter. But until then, we'll see you next time on the next episode of Recentered, which should be... What month are we in?
I think...
It might be a few weeks yet.
3 weeks maybe if we do one at the start of next month.
Yep.
About 3 weeks.
In about 3 weeks, we'll see you then. I'm going to go and get some sleep because I need to catch up like a bear. And everybody, take care.
See you next time.
Cheers, everyone.
I think mine breaks up when I go to the toilet, right? Or is that my microphone? I think you've heard me going to the toilet before.
Well, I don't know I did, but maybe I have.
I'm usually on. If I've not got the camera on, it's because I'm sat on the toilet.
Oh, okay. Well, keep that in mind.